Aloha, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, thanks for stopping by. I want to just point out real quick, I think I'm going to be ditching the cold intro for now. I tried it for the past couple of videos and I'm not sure if I really like it. Like, I get the concept of what the cold intro or soft intro is supposed to be, but I think kind of almost in a way with how my mind works, it's almost as if like doing a cold intro kind of like interrupts my flow. So anyhow, I'm gonna like try not doing the cold or soft intro for a couple of videos and then kind of do a little compare and contrast and see, well, I guess if I like it, but also to kind of like put it back to you all and see if you all as viewers, at least for my channel and my kind of content, like if you even like the cold intro, does it do anything for you? Does it, yeah, I don't know, because I think the whole point of the cold intros or soft intro, I forget which term is correct, but is it supposed to give you and viewer a nutshell synopsis summary of what the video is supposed to be about before committing too much time. But like I was saying, I don't know if that is helpful for like my channel and my kind of content. So anyhow, I'm going to scrap it for this video and probably the next video and then just kind of go from there. So anyhow, we're just going to dive right into it, is essentially what I was getting to. So in this video, we're talking about love. I love love. So to get right into it, what about love? And what does love have to do with spirituality and spiritual growth? A lot, actually. So I was inspired to make this week's video about this topic of love, based on one of the astrologers that I follow. He goes by the name Kaipacha now, but his YouTube channel is New Paradigm Astrology. Anyhow, I was listening to his weekly forecast, Kaipacha's weekly forecast, and basically what he was describing as being one of the big things for us to look at, and we're kind of like being forced to look at right now, is our concept of love and our concepts of relationship and how relationships work around love. And so anyhow, excuse me, love is, right, like it's been one of those things that it's been written about, wars have been started over love. Like, I mean, love is one of those things that permeates the ethos of time. But one thing that kind of refreshed one of my spiritual experiences, like way back early in my, I guess, beginning my spiritual journey. And anyhow, I participated in consuming psychedelic mushrooms. And at the time, sure, I was young and I was immature, and I was kind of more coming from an angle of curiosity mixed in with like kind of what my peers were doing, but I was more coming from a place of curiosity. And so anyhow, had this just mind-blowing, transcendental and transformational experience in this psychedelic experience. And what really unfolded for me in this experience was love. And it was so out of body and out of mind, the experience. And the best way that I could describe it, because it's undescribable, and the type of love that I've felt. I mean, it's the only way I can imagine to even do that sense justice, as far as trying to describe it in words, is to say simply that that's what I imagine God love feels like. And so it was intense love. Like, it was just love that permeated everything. It was like air, it was like oxygen. And it was too, like, almost had this crushing kind of quality about it, but not like crushing you to like destroy you, but it was just so intense. It was like being in this soup of just intense, transcendental love. And so when I was watching Kaipacha's weekly paleo report for this weekly forecast, that was one of the things that he brought up was love, and that, you know, the astrology, the celestial bodies, are the way that they're lining up right now, is that it's the alignment is going to be initiating some stirring up of our concepts and belief systems around love. And one of the things that I find that we humans get stuck in, and I you know, who knows where it comes from, but we get stuck first in this idea or belief system that we're not worthy of love, that we're undeserving of love, but anyhow, that you know, just trying to keep, I guess, the scope of where I'm trying to orient us looking at ourselves is more in the context of modern human, and to not get too, you know, lost in like past stuff, history, all that good stuff. But I just did want to, I guess, point out that I am aware of there are known evolutions that society has gone through when it comes to love and our concept of love and ideals and romance and relationship and that kind of stuff. Like, you know, the romanticism and the whole Renaissance, and you had Shakespeare kind of like changing the game as far as how Western society especially was starting to romanticized relationship. And so anyhow, but this the thing that I was wanting to kind of really highlight, because I've noticed it before in myself, like I was trying to share, but that like Kaipacha, the astrologer I was referring to, he was pointing out specifically in this forecast, which is so in our, again, referencing modern human, in our attempts to conceptualize what love is and what love looks like, that for the most part, we humans, we society, seem to keep doing just that. Meaning, we seem to keep just conceptualizing love and what love is, and we're not like really actually taking it in. Like, for example, and two, this was another reason why I was super inspired to record this content specifically for this video, was like one of my coaching clients. Like, we were talking about kind of this very thing, love and the concept of love. And you know, something that she was noticing for her, which we both noticed so yes, in our own stories, but that this seems to be a theme with at least a lot of the women in our society, and so our society being American society, is that we like even conceptualize love to the degree that we will find ways to feel guilty when there is no need to feel guilty. So, for example, I'll use myself as the example, but my client inspired this. So, I used to have the pattern of, like, say, my husband was wanting to do some housework, some cleaning. Not because he particularly enjoys cleaning, but say it was to express love for me or love to me. I guess both would fit. And so, just knowing that, maybe my time is more limited and that he has more time. And so, hey, I'm going to do a little bit more thorough cleaning, like, the real deep cleaning kind of stuff. And don't you worry about it. I don't want you to get up. I don't want you to do anything. You just keep sitting, relaxing. Well, at the beginning of even experiencing this, I couldn't not help because I would feel guilty. And so back and forth, a few times into it, my husband eventually sat me down and was like, look it, like you have to accept basically what I'm trying to do here, because I'm not trying to do this to trigger you into getting you up and cleaning. I'm trying to do this so that you don't have to, because eventually what I learned to open up and hear was that this is love and I'm trying to show you I love you. And so, and eventually I got it. I got the lesson. But it's, like these little things where, and so I was pointing this out to my client because she was having a similar thing going on with her and her spouse, is, it's like we conceptualize love so much that we can sabotage love even coming into our lives, and then sabotage the love even further because we're feeling guilty about somebody trying to love us. So like in turn, right, or not in turn, but in that example, my husband cleaning because he's trying to show love. He's being loving. He's giving love. And me using, when I used to feel guilty about that, it's like essentially I was feeling guilty about somebody giving me love. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. So can any of us find a justifiable or stress-free reason to keep living life that way? And if you can, I definitely invite you to write that in the comment section, because I surely can't think of a reason or a stress-free reason to keep supporting that way of thinking. I just can't. And so if I can't think of a good reason to keep holding on to a belief system or a way of thinking, it's got to go. There's too much going on up here to even entertain stuff that doesn't support my highest and greatest good, or your highest and greatest good, or all of our highest and greatest good. So getting back to the transcendental experience, I don't think I got to complete what I was trying to ultimately, I didn't get to complete the point that I was trying to make with even bringing that up. And the point that I even brought that up was because of when I was watching Kai Pacha's Pele report, that he was getting to this whole kind of like ultimate core lesson, if you will, as far as the astrology being a teacher. with love is that, so it's like, yeah, we get so hung up in conceptualizing love that we've gotten afraid to let go of the concept so that we might actually live and experience what love actually feels like. And so I apologize if I'm getting kind of like hung up and stuck a little bit more than I usually am, but you know, certain things, language really is a challenge, and love is one of those things, at least to me. It is challenging trying to use words to describe something that is non-tangible, sure, but is also like, you know, can you describe oxygen? Well, I mean, only to a degree. I can only do but so much with words, but it's, you know, it's a life force. Well, it's kind of what love is. And essentially, so to take it back to Kaipacha, that's what he was saying, was that perhaps love is the force of life. It's the actual, like light is a substance that we know of. And there's no other substance like it in the universe, like to the point where there's nothing that we know of that's faster than light. Sure, there's some potential questions around like the whole dark matter and, you know, that whole thing, but it's like love. And so Kaipacha was making this point too in his Paleo report, which, by the way, if I can figure out how to link it in the cards above, I will. If not, I'll do my best to remember to link it in the description box below. If I don't get to that right away, like I eventually, hopefully, will get that link in there at some point, because it was a outstanding. I mean, the Paleo reports, in my opinion, are always outstanding, but that's because I also think Kaipacha is an outstanding astrologer for sure, and he teaches astrology like to an incredible degree, but I also love his personality. So he has a soft spot in my heart. But it's like this whole thing with love, and that was like my transcendental experience. And that's why, you know, again, I apologize that I'm getting hung up on my words, but I'm telling you all, this kind of love that does exist, and you don't need to take psychedelic mushrooms to experience that. You can experience that now, right now, as you're sitting watching my video. If you just close your eyes, and so maybe do that with me for a second. Close your eyes. You know, take in a couple deep breaths just to kind of set the tone of relaxation. All right, so now you did that. Drop down into this space we call our heart. And if you know what I'm talking about, go a little bit deeper into your sacred heart space. And just hang out there for a minute. And as you're noticing just your heart, and, you know, maybe you're noticing that it's, you know, kind of thumping a little loud, or maybe you're not noticing any thumping, but don't worry, you're not dead. Like, there's no way you could be if you're still alive, breathing, watching this video. So after the couple breaths, just noticing your heart, try to entertain a concept of love. And so what I mean by that is, you know, like, is there a picture that shows up as far as like a concept of what love looks like to you? Is there a movie, a book, characters, just what pops up for you in your imagination when you conceptualize love? And And just kind of notice that it's all of these things though, and these things are essentially things of the mind, concepts. So whenever you're finished with that, let go of all of the thinking aspects around love. And I would invite you to then drop into your heart. And from this place, try to resist any concepts. So no thinking around love. But as I keep saying, love, love, unconditional love. Do you notice a feeling, some kind of sensory experience that starts to emit from the heart, and maybe even kind of goes outside of just the region of the heart? Maybe you even kind of feel like a flush going over your whole body. So that, and kind of want to pause a moment just in case you were really into that. And please, I would invite you, continue. Hit pause on the video. But, just that little practice right there, or that little exercise, is what I was hoping to do with that, is to offer just a quick little way to get the contrast of what it is that I'm talking about here. So like we have the concept of love. So all of the stories, the ideas, the characters, the whatever that start to unfold in the mind, which is a way to connect with love, but it's connecting with love through thinking, through concepts, which isn't a bad thing, but it's not truly experiencing love. To experience love, we have to drop into the heart. And so this is what I feel like Kaipacha was trying to express, with kind of, describing too that, perhaps love is really, the actual life force. And then, again, I don't know if I have yet to successfully explain this, but in my psychedelic experience, that was confirmed. I mean, and that was an experience I had long before, obviously, Kaipacha's weekly paleo report that he just posted, which was yesterday. So basically, if I had this experience like almost 20 years ago, other people have had that experience with or without the use of psychedelics. And then, fast forward to today, and you have, anyhow, the point being that 100% I believe that is truth. That love is the life force. And I feel like I can somewhat scientifically back that up because of the rice experiment. And if nobody, like if you're watching this and you haven't seen my video on the rice experiment, well, my video on the rice experiment, but maybe too you don't know what I'm talking about because you haven't heard of the rice experiment from anybody else. I will also try to link that in the cards. But the rice experiment, to me, very clearly shows that there is something to love. And that even further, I think the rice experiment is showing us that love is definitely a life force that can sustain life itself. And so, how to tie all this together as far as what you, the viewer, can do with this, as far as, okay, maybe I'm just like sitting here talking story, sharing my experience with love. And I mean, yes, I do try to offer my own life experiences with a lot of the things that I talk about on my channel, but it's ultimately to say, like, use me and my experiences or my life story as an example, as a vessel for you to do something with it in your own life, in your own stories, in your own experiences. And so, like, what can I do with all of this stuff about love, Sarah, that you're talking about? And really the homework is to stop conceptualizing love and what love is. So any ideas, any thoughts, any even preferences towards romanticism, checking ourselves in every way possible to see, first if we're being authentic to ourselves, because, maybe we've developed this ideal of being a hopeless romantic, well, because that's what Shakespeare told us to do, not because that's how I actually want to carry out intimate relationships. So that's kind of what I'm meaning with, as far as reviewing yourself from that angle too. Like, do you have any belief systems around love that are just pure belief systems and they're 100% made up, and that's not actually what love looks like? Which I tend to think most of our issues around relationship are because we're coming from a place of conceptualizing love. All right, so what can you, the viewer, do with this information that is in actuality pretty darn complex and not simple, which is why I think I'm struggling with trying to talk about some of this in this video, because this is complex stuff. So to try to keep it somewhat simple, the best sort of homework I would encourage all of you to do would be to start taking inventory of all of the concepts of love that you have, concepts of relationships, and, just writing them down, just to, put the pen to paper. Getting it out of here to paper can be very helpful. And then also, whether it's journaling, going to meditation, however you get there, but start reviewing your life, and especially when it comes to, love and relationships, and start reviewing all of the areas where you've had just some funkiness around love and around receiving love, or maybe even like you were judging somebody else's actions as not being loving, even though that other person was trying to tell you, like, no, this is me trying to love you. And, like, for example, if two people have different love languages, and each person is trying to show love through their love language instead of the other person's love language, and the love can get lost in expressing itself because of the difference in love languages. That's kind of what I was trying to talk about there. So, like, reviewing if you've had situations where somebody was trying to express to you, like, no, I am trying to show you my love, and it was doing this, and you just didn't receive it because either, whatever reason, it wasn't your love language, to you just didn't feel like it. I don't know. So taking stock and reviewing all of that, and and if you can and you want to, then to start diving deeper and seeing how you can open yourself up. So you might have to do it through concept, through mind, through thinking at first, but I would encourage you to ultimately take all of these concepts and plot down into your heart, and to start feeling it and feeling out these situations from an emotional angle. But to essentially see how you can transform in your own self how you were relating to all those experiences and concepts. So with the experiences, especially if you had any that had shown up for you where, maybe you were misreading or You didn't hear somebody's love because it was coming through a different love language or just a different way of expressing it, and how you can change your perspective to see it as love, and somebody was trying to show me love, and to take that in as love. And to also put the exclamation on it that if somebody was trying to give you love, of course you're deserving of it. We're all deserving of love. And then anything, that was in the realm of concepts, thinking, thoughts, ideas, ideals around love, to play with the mind and see if there's any areas where it's just not serving you anymore, any old concepts, and how can you change those concepts and belief systems into something new, something that can potentially work for you. And if you're unsure, you could always try things out in real life, of course, with willing participants, as long as you're open and honest. People, you would be surprised at how there are people out there for everybody. So, I really do apologize if I kind of was all over the place and having a little rougher time than normal trying to express concepts around love. No, but, that this love, especially like love with a capital L, God love, unconditional love, it is, in my opinion, hard to talk about because words, first of all, can't, words don't do it justice. Words can't describe this, this essence, this energy, this thing. And no, I'm not necessarily promoting, people to go out and go nuts with like psychedelic mushrooms or anything, but on that note, I do believe that psychedelic plants, when used responsibly and maturely, do have a place in society, do have a place with humans, and can be wonderful plant teachers and catalysts for spiritual growth and change. So to kind of bring all this back, hopefully to a place of center to kind of get some closure here. Love, I do believe is God. I believe love, and through my experiencing of this kind of love, I do believe it is the life force. For any human to keep carrying this belief system that we're undeserving of love or that we're not worthy of love is basically like saying you're unworthy of breathing oxygen. It's kind of ridiculous when it's a life force that literally, and it's hard to describe, but it permeated everything when I was in this transcendental place. I mean, it was like oxygen. And so, it's ridiculous for us humans to carry around this belief system. So, love with a capital L is a big subject. And yes, it is a very important topic to get to, especially when it comes to spiritual growth, but also personal growth, because there are a lot of even like mental health issues that have to do with a lack of self-love. And so love matters greatly. And also, just kind of the exclamation on all of this is the rice experiment, because to me that is a very real manifestation of the power of love. And you kind of can see it back there. It's that little white jar right there. Those little black things, that's the stack of my funky rice. That little light colored container right there, though, that's still my living rice. And it's gonna be 4 years old this coming up April. I mean, it's crazy. That thing has just been sitting in my office for 3.5 years. Love is sustaining it. I mean, that's how big of a deal this is. So we need to fix our fundamental concepts of love, because we got a lot of glitchy, wonky, flawed belief systems and concepts there. But we also need to stop just conceptualizing love and drop into our hearts and start feeling it and letting it in and let love move you. I mean, like, I know I was trying to like close up this video, but when I was describing the crushing feeling when I was in that transcendental space, it was, yeah, just, again, I lost my words, because that's how it goes. So anyhow, oh boy, I hope this video made sense, because I think I was a little more all over the place than I normally am, and I'm going to have a fun time editing all of this. So anyhow, love, I love love. I want all of us to be as in love with love as I am. But I also wish and hope for all of us to eventually learn that it is okay to open up our hearts to love, even though it can feel very scary, because it's a vulnerable place to live life through. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because I get to experience so much more of life by having my heart open than I do having it closed. And so I will leave you all with that. And I especially have to leave because my battery's getting ready to die. So until next time, I appreciate you all so much. Thanks for stopping by and checking out my video, and we'll catch y'all next time. Aloha.